make sure you are feeding it. Make sure you're fueling your body so it's able to repair itself. Because if you're going too much, if you're doing too much, it's not repaired enough, and that's where injuries happen. Okay, that's where overtraining happens. And welcome to another edition of Reno's Rants here on the Roughnecks Podcast. And for those who haven't yet, please go to roughneckspodcast.com, sign up for the newsletter, monthly newsletter. Colt is keeping things spicy as always. Stay up to date on what's to come. Really cool thing coming. I'm not going to give it away. I'll let Colt do it, but cool stuff's coming. Also, go grab some merch, of course. But hey, on this episode, I'm going off the cuff. I guess I had an idea for this episode, but I got this question 3 times this week, 3 times like in a row, back to back to back, and it kind of freaked me out. So I am just going to address that question here to everyone. It is a fitness related question, and it is, hey Reno, what split should I do? And if you guys don't know what a split is, it's pretty much like what muscle group should I train that day throughout the week. And my suggestion, okay, number one thing you need to establish before you start thinking too far ahead, okay, simply what's your goal? Okay, what are you trying to do? What's the overall goal here? Are you trying to build strength? Are you looking for weight loss? Are you trying to get faster, more explosive type of things? Go into the gym with a plan. Please go into it with a plan. Don't just guess kind of what you're doing out there. Is going in there doing something better than nothing? Of course it is, but going in there with a plan is going to help you out so much. You're going to see progress so much faster that way. So establish your goal first, okay, and then sort of build around that. Then the next one, of course, is how many days can you commit to? All right, is that 3 days? Is it 4 days? Is it 5 days? I think personally, 5 days and above, we're pushing it. Okay, we still got to remember recovery. But my suggestion is I love a 4-day split. But if you're a 2-day person, that's perfectly fine. If you just go to the gym twice, okay, what I would suggest for 2 days is simply do an upper body day and do a lower body day, right? It makes sense. For a 3-day split someone wants to do, my favorite 3-day split is a PPL, which is a push-pull legs. Okay, so one day you're doing push, which is your chest, shoulders, and triceps. The second day you're doing pull, which is back and biceps. Then the last day is legs, of course, right? And then as we move into the 4-day, 5 days, this is where we can start getting a little bit creative. 4 days, I still like the push-pull legs format. But what I do as the 4th day, I'll add a full body day. So we're doing push, pull, legs, then I'm adding a full body day. And it keeps things interesting. It keeps your body guessing and still kind of not getting necessarily comfortable to that point. But I mean, another one of my favorite 4-day splits is doing a back and light chest day, and then doing a shoulders and arms, and then doing a chest and light back, and then legs. Okay, and a big reason why I like to have 2 back days in my programs is because your posterior chain is one area where everybody can improve. All right. I hear it a lot. Hey, I got low back issues. My low back doesn't seem to want to be working properly. Look, everybody has low back issues. I've had low back issues before, but I've addressed it in sort of a different way. Because I have low back issues doesn't mean I'm going to avoid working out my back, okay? But more importantly, think about your body as sort of a big puzzle, a big chain, right? So if your low back is hurting, what is support? Why is your low back in so much pain? Is it supporting another area of your body that's weak? Most likely the answer is yes. Okay, when someone comes to me with low back issues, I test their glute strength and I test their hamstring strength. Okay. Typically when someone has low back issues is because their lacking in their glutes, they're lacking in their hamstrings. And because of that, their back has to take on so much of sort of the weight of everything. Your back's compensating for the weakness everywhere else. So no wonder your back's tight. It's always working. If you had stronger glutes, if you had stronger hamstrings, your back doesn't have to support so much. You're getting support elsewhere too. So I think I will say it a million times, you should pull twice as much as you should push. And the same thing goes for the shoulders. Okay, a lot of people have shoulder issues, right? A big reason is your rear delt. A lot of people avoid this muscle. The rear delt is what sort of lies on the back of your shoulder girdle. Okay, that's the muscle in the back where it almost gives you that nice sort of roundness to your shoulder. And the best way to train that is simply with like a face pull or some type of pulling motion. Rows are excellent for your rear delt. Believe it or not, everyone thinks that, when you do a seated row, it's all back. In reality, you're working a lot of rear delt too. That's extremely, extremely important. And when you train your back so much, and I know I'm harping on the back here, but like it is that important to train your back. Pull everything. But again, going back to the chain reaction, when you have established a good set of rear delts, a good upper back, okay, what's that naturally going to do? It's naturally going to pull your shoulders back. It's naturally going to put you in better posture. Okay, think about it. When your shoulders are rounded and you're hunched forward, where's all the tension? The tension's in your upper back, in your traps, which lead up into your neck, which lead to migraines. Okay, some people think I just get migraines. A lot of it has to do with your posture. Is if you fix your posture, you'll be amazed what that will do. So really, really harp on doing pull. Okay, pull, and don't forget about your legs and your glutes. All right, your glutes, your hamstrings. Make sure we are training them. Everybody is very, or I shouldn't say everybody. It's very common for people to have their quads are way bigger than their hamstrings. Okay, we hear about it all the time. Someone tore their hamstring, someone pulled their hamstring, someone had a hamstring issue, right? A lot of that's because their quads are so strong that the hamstrings can't keep up. So when they go to sprint, right, their quads are like, all right, easy, I can do this. So you're going to push it to a limit, and your hamstrings are in the back like, hey, I can't go that far. I can't push it this hard, so I'm going to cause an injury, right? It all leads to evening things out, making sure everything is supported, making sure all your joints are intact. That's a big thing that we focus on, especially Brittany and I, is joint health, natural posture position, and getting everything in line before we start doing any of the crazy stuff. You can ask a lot of our clients, what's the first couple weeks consist of? It's nothing but joint work. I need to make sure your joints are healthy enough to put on weight, to put you under a bar, to put you with heavy dumbbells. I need to make sure that everything else is supported before I'm gonna put you under that. And people get upset like, oh, this is too easy. Like, that's not it. This is too important is what it is. It's not too easy. It's too important to ignore. We have to address that first. But anyway, enough of the back. So yeah, make sure that you are first establishing your goal, right? When in doubt, keep your rep range between 8 and 12 reps. Okay, between 8 and 12 reps, that's kind of the money spot. You can even go down to 6 if you want. But 6 to 12 reps, I'll say, is right where you want to be for a lot of these things. Your main lifts, your big, heavy lifts, like your bench press, your squat, your deadlift, those I would suggest keeping a little bit lower unless you want to work them into an auxiliary type movement. That's neither here nor there. But again, between that 6 and 12 reps, that's money. That's money right there. But another thing that's overmissed, guys, is rest. Okay, doing more is not necessarily the answer. Everyone's like, I want to do this. I want to do I gotta add more. Can I add more to this? It's like that's not necessarily it. Rest is just as important as training, make sure you're sleeping, make sure you are eating, make sure you're getting your nutrients. Your body has to heal. When you work out, you're breaking down your body is what's happening, right? You are breaking your body down for it to repair itself. And when it repairs itself, it grows, it adds more muscle, because when you put it under that type of stress, that type of stimulus, it's kind of like, hey, I do not want to go through that again. So I'm going to add more muscle here, or I'm going to add a little bit more efficiency to my muscles to make sure that the next time I do it, I'm more prepared. That's kind of what your body's thinking. So make sure you are feeding it. Make sure you're fueling your body so it's able to repair itself. Because if you're going too much, if you're doing too much, it's not repaired enough, and that's where injuries happen. Okay, that's where overtraining happens. Okay, make sure again you're sleeping, you are eating right, you're getting all your nutrients. If you have to supplement. I don't understand this big thing that, oh, supplements are so bad. Like, are you kidding me? You're telling me you eat perfect and you're not deficient in any way, shape, or form? At least take a multivitamin. Please, at least take a multivitamin. And I guarantee most of you are vitamin D deficient. That's probably a good idea too. Might want to add some vitamin D in there. I'm not going to tell you dosages. I'm not a dietitian, blah, blah, blah. But just as a suggestion, I'd maybe stick around the 5,000 IU range. But anyway, again, rest is just as important as training is, okay? Now, I kind of mentioned it a little bit about your body. When you break it down, it comes back and says, I don't want to do that again, so I'm going to build more muscle, I'm going to build more efficiency. Okay, this goes into how you write your program and how you write your splits, okay? Don't change it up every single week, okay? Stick to a workout program, I say, for at least 3 to 4 weeks. Okay, why would we say 3 to 4 weeks? Because that first week you kind of put your body into shock. It's kind of like, hey, what is happening here? Again, going back to, I need to rebuild, I need to put this on there. But then the second and third week and fourth week that you do it, your body's like, okay, I'm getting used to this now. So now I'm really starting to build muscle around it. My endurance within my muscle, my muscle efficiency is growing. It feels good. Now your body has caught up. And once your body has caught up, you change it. You change it again and start over. And these changes do not have to be drastic. God, I see some things on Instagram where people are like, oh, try this crazy exercise. They're like upside down, doing all kinds of crazy things. Stop it. Stop it. Get back to the basics, all right? Most of it is just changing an angle, okay? I'll give a bench press, for example, okay? One of the most common, a barbell bench press. Maybe you do that for 3 to 4 weeks, and then you do a barbell incline bench press. Oh, it's a subtle change. All it is a angle. You're just changing the angle on it. Okay, maybe you can change up the rep ranges a little bit too, but it doesn't have to be crazy. All right? But during those 3 to 4 weeks, I will say one important thing is to make sure you are progressive overloading. And if you don't know what that is, I guess in layman's term, is each week, make sure you're writing down what weight you're using. Write it down somewhere. The guys who train with me, I have a big whiteboard in my gym, and I'm writing my weight every single time, because when I go back the next week, I want to try to beat that number. Okay, that's called progressive overload. Okay, I'm progressively overloading that lift or that motion. Okay, I want to make sure that I'm increasing the weight, even if I'm just adding a 2.5. Okay, that's part of it. All right. Another big thing that I think I've just recently learned to really focus in on this, and it has helped me tremendously. And some people call it a fluke, some people call it fake news, whatever you want to call it. It's mind-muscle connection. Okay. What mind-muscle connection is when you are lifting, when you are moving something, think about what muscles need to activate when I'm doing that lift. Okay. And when you are doing that lift, doing that exercise, think about those muscles contracting. Think about them contracting. Use the mirror. Watch them contract. Okay. If you're doing single arm or single leg stuff, put your hand on the other leg. Okay. Feel your muscles moving. I know it sounds dumb, right? But it is crazy important, and it works. I promise you it works. It makes your form better. You truly feel everything activating. It's a different level of training, but that's the next level step that, again, I've been training for practically my whole life, and I'm just now coming to realize how important this is. I've heard people talk about it all the time, but I started implementing it, and holy moly, what a difference, especially on back day. There we go, back to back. Because on back, when you do a lot of pull motions, a lot of that requires a lot of forearm, a lot of bicep when you do that. So you want to overcompensate by using your biceps and using your forearms a lot. But when you think about, okay, I'm trying to contract, my lats on this one. So like a good example is on lat pull downs. Okay, a lot of people want to grip that bar so hard and use their forearms to pull that thing down. Try to have a loose grip on the lat pull down bar. Okay, try to have a nice loose grip. And I've even seen some people put wrist wraps on, wrist wrap themselves to the bar, let their hands go, and literally just pull the bar down with their hands open. They're just using the wrist wraps to pull it because they want a full contraction in the back. They don't want that contraction coming from the forearm, right? They're trying to hit the specific muscle that they're looking for, right? So anyway, a little bit of recap. So you're split. What should you do? Okay, find your goal. What is that? How many days do you want to commit to? Okay, keep the rep ranges, again, between 6 and 12. Your heavier lifts, your big muscle groups, I would stick to that lower rep range. Okay, I would highly focus on your posterior chain. Any pull motions, any hamstring motions, any glute motions, please add those. Do not avoid them. If you have something nagging, that doesn't mean you necessarily have to avoid it. There's a difference between injury. Oh no. Okay, sorry. I thought I lost the screen here. There's a difference between injury and difference between a lack. Okay, are you lacking in an area? Right? Big difference. Make sure we're resting, guys. Please rest. More is not always the answer. Okay, a good example is Brittany. She just competed in 2 bodybuilding shows, as you should know at this point. Her last couple weeks, she's training 3 days a week. Like, that's it. Like, people see, Chris Bumstead and those type of people thinking that they're working out 7 days a week. That's not true. I promise you that's not true. Will they be doing a little bit of, maybe some cardio and abs on the side? Sure. I'm sure he is. But he's not he's not depleting his body 7 days a week. That's not sustainable. That's not fun. That's you're doing more harm than good, I promise you. And then stick to that for 3 to 4 weeks. These same exercises. Do the same exercise. Get those muscles, tissues, tendons used to doing that, and progressive overload each week. Okay, add a little bit more weight each week. Really push yourself. And on those reps, remember, it's a set of 10 or it's a set of 12. Okay, if you have more in the tank, that's not a set of 10. That's not a set of 12. You can do more. Those last 2 to 3 reps should be difficult. Go to technical failure. Okay, everything should still be locked in, ready to go. Go till technical failure, right? Whew. So, as you can tell, I love this stuff. Writing workout programs is by far my favorite thing to do. Anytime someone asks for one, I'm like, oh yeah, here we go. Okay, what are your goals? What is this? And I love, it's a big puzzle to me. I love seeing people's body changes, especially when someone comes to me with poor posture. That's like, it's such an amazing thing seeing their progress pictures, and their shoulders are just they rolling back, their butt sticking out a little bit farther. You can see definition within their hamstrings, within their calves. It all comes together. And by having, again, that strong posterior, you're going to have that, guys, especially, everyone wants that chest, that big chest, right? You're not going to have a big chest if your shoulders are hunched forward. Okay, when they're nice and rolled back, boom, there you go, right? Okay, I think I covered everything. Ooh, you know what? I have to cover this. I could keep going forever on this one, but so when you are writing your split, okay, say you're doing, shoulders that day, what motions is going to hit each part of your shoulder, I should say? What motions, what angle do you have to be in to hit that specific part? Now you have to know a little bit of anatomy here, right? So you have your front delt, lateral delt, rear delt. Okay, if you know one position is going to hit your front delt, say you're doing a heavy, overhead press, that's primarily your front delt. Okay, so the rest of your workout, think, what part of my shoulder haven't I hit yet? Oh, my lateral delt, my rear delt. Well, maybe I should put in some lateral raises, Or then at the end, maybe I should do some face pulls so I can hit my rear delts. Don't overload one specific area, especially, it's called a bicep for a reason because there's 2 muscles to your bicep. It's called a tricep for a reason because there's 3 muscles to that. Make sure you're looking at each part of your muscle, right? Okay, I'm done. Now, from the beginning, remember, go to roughneckspodcast.com, get on the newsletter, please subscribe to it, check out the merchandise coming, a lot of cool things coming as always. Huge shout out to Cole, man, he just rocks this thing. I feel like, I was literally just texting him, I said, dude, I feel like I'm taking advantage of you, you've given me a platform. So again, my gratitude to Cole. Thanks for allowing me to do this. I love this stuff. I love just talking. I love just ranting. That's what it's about. So again, thanks everyone. I'll see you next time. I'm out.
Thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode of the Roughnecks Podcast. If you liked today's episode, then please be sure to share it with a friend. You can follow the Roughnecks Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Roughnecks Podcast. Head over to roughneckspodcast.com and grab yourself some Roughnecks merch. Until next time, make sure you grab the bull by the horns and take control of your life. Roughnecks, out.